Good morning, my people. It's another very beautiful day here at Ace Rabbit Farm. And I thought, look, I took a little walk through my garden. And then I decided to, harvest a few um, herbs that are around. And I thought I'd bring that to you. But much more than that, it has never been the question of what herbs, what leaves to feed our animals. The reason being simple. There are ton list of all these type of herbs. We've got from alfalfa, which is like a top-notch herb to feed your animal. We've got mulberry, we've got mango leaves, we've got rosemary, we've got elephant grass, the whole sweet basil, bitter leaf, dandelion, Spanish needle, okay, Biden pilosa, one of the plants which I'm so much in love with right now. It's a Biden pilosa. Now, all this list exists. This is like just around my garden, okay, just around my garden. But it has never been a question of what leaves to feed your animals. Rather, it is how to feed your animals. How do you feed your animals these leaves? So it is much more a question of how do you feed these animals with these leaves. Okay, so first and first, we need to know the leaves or the herbs, a lot of them. Okay, there are thousands of them. So go around your own space, look around and find your own leaves, right? And then you come back with the list of the leaves that you found. And then you ask the second question: how do I feed these leaves to the animals? But the how part is broken into two. Okay, and the first part is how do I prepare the leaves? And then what quantity do I feed my animals? We've seen a lot of young and upcoming farmers who pick up on one or two of these leaves, vegetable plants. And once they know it can be fed to their animal, they just go straight at it and they just pump those leaves into the animals' cages. And before you realize, we pick up issues. Okay, so today really just around my garden here, my space here, I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to take some videos on my space here, and then we can then take a step back and then try and answer the question of how do we then feed those animals with these herbs. Okay, so yeah, come along, let's go. I believe an excellent way to approach this topic really is to take a step back and go and have a look at wild rabbits in the bushes. Now, rabbits, surprisingly, we all know rabbit come from, the Mediterranean areas in north of Africa, lower Europe, Spain. First and first, people, it is counterintuitive that you see rabbit eating dry materials instead of green. Of course, they can eat the green, but please always feed your animals with dry green matters. Now, having said that, because that is so important for me, but having said that, the data I really want to bring to you is that rabbits are opportunistic grazers. Okay, what that means is they don't just feed on one type of plant. They feed on small bits and pieces of plants. And so that then makes sense, because if they are opportunistic feeders, what that means is what is available is what they'll feed. And that also means they feed a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and so doing, they gather all the necessary nutrients which they need to sustain themselves. And so that is exactly the same mentality we are going to be adopting. Now remember, these animals, we keep them in cages, we confine them. So it is our job to bring to these animals the variety that they usually would have received if they were in the wild themselves. So therefore, it is our job really to bring to this animal variety of all these herbs. So now come along and let's go straight into my yard and take a walk around and look around and see what herbs we can find. We bring them to the table and then we expand the conversation. So there in the background is a mango plant. Okay, I've got a single mango tree in my yard, and guess what? the leaves are very, very good for rabbits. It contains vitamin C and a whole lot of other useful chemicals. There, what you can see right now is the mulberry plant. Okay, mulberry is very, very nutritious, really. Mulberry has got a lot of research material where you can actually gather significant data and use mulberry to replace a lot of your hardcore meal. Okay, so mulberry is a very, very useful one. There is the bitter leaf. Okay, this one is called the elephant grass or something, elephant leaves, but I'm going to do a separate video on that because it's such a very powerful herb. Now, what you have here is the basil. This is what I use, the basil, and then right next to it is the rosemary. Okay, so basil, rosemary. So there, I've harvested all of this and I've brought them onto the table. There is your mulberry. There is an alfalfa. Okay, alfalfa. Now the alfalfa, I've dried it. There's a particular reason for that. I've dried it completely. And there's a fresh version that I got. Okay. Next to it is your basil, the sweet basil. It's got a lot of scent. There is a wild rosemary. This one is the wild type. I've got two varieties in my garden. One is a wild type, and here is the bitter leaf. Okay, so folks, these are the leaves. Now let's take a couple of notes, and then I'm not going to speak about all of them because it's just going to be too long a video. Okay, so rather let's just take two of such leaves. Let's take the rosemary as an example, and also let's take the alfalfa, because I think these are very, very common leaves around. Let's just talk about these two for now, okay? And as we grow in our knowledge, look, I'm going to send a couple of links in these videos so that you can do your own research to enrich. So use my information that I'm providing here as a starting, source of data for you. Then you can now move into your own research and build a strong knowledge base. So let's focus on the alfalfa. And if I look at my note, it says, look, alfalfa is the go-to forage when it comes to real animal forage. And alfalfa is like number one on top of all of them, okay? It has it all. It's got good high protein content. It's got calcium, a whole lot of minerals. It is palatable. And it actually makes good hay as well. So I guess alfalfa is top. If you can find alfalfa in your area, in Ghana where you are, then I guess all your rabbit feed issues are resolved. In fact, alfalfa forms the base of all pellets. I'm talking about commercially produced pellets outside of Ghana, by the way. I don't know anybody who really produces top quality commercial pellet in Ghana, which is another opportunity. So when it comes to pellets in the European countries, in South Africa, in other part of the world, I know alfalfa is the number one base element because it's basically a magic plant when it comes to animal fodder, okay? But having said all of that, there is also a little bit of a bad side to it, okay? So, for example, you need to manage the quantity that you feed the animals. Look, I think alfalfa is also the most researched, perhaps one of the most researched plants or forages in the world. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a ton of information out there. So whatever I'm saying here right now, please go out there and find more information to add up to it and make it very rich for yourself, okay? So alfalfa, that's the story. Look, monitor the quantity you feed per day. Monitor the age of your animals. For growers, by all means, increase the quantity. But for sustaining your breeding stock, reduce the quantity, okay? I will only recommend feeding just the dry one, okay? Don't feed the fresh green one. It looks interesting and nice to have the fresh green one, but don't feed that one. Please feed only the dry one because the fresh one contains a lot of alkaloids. And some of these alkaloids could be harmful to your animal. So please do not overfeed alfalfa and do not feed a fresh one. Just feed a dry one. So having said that, that makes it for us on the alfalfa one, okay? Let's take the second one. So rosemary is very high in vitamin A. It's also very good for rabbits. But rosemary also has got a very sharp scent. It is highly scented. So, of course, you can feed rosemary to your animals, but perhaps you only have to feed a small portion. And also remember the story of our animals, because we want them to have variety. What this therefore means is that a tiny little bit of rosemary among a bunch of other leaves will go a long way to actually create a very pleasant environment, very beautiful scent environment for the animal. But just one tiny little stalk per day might just be okay, just a tiny little bit of it. So that is how I'll feed rosemary. You take a piece of it and you just put that into the feed of your animal. Okay, it's also got calcium, it's got vitamin A, and some other phytochemicals that I do not have a complete list here. So I'm sure now you've already picked on the format of this video and how it is going. So you pick a leaf, you do a little bit of study about it, find out how to feed it, what quantity to feed, and therefore we've done the 2 examples for you to see. Okay, so that really is what I wanted to bring to you. Now, I just want to go in and summarize what we have discussed, because it is so important, or let me call it the takeaway. So the takeaway for this topic really is what I intend to discuss now. So variety is everything. Variety and appropriate quantities. Now, what this means is the variety, like I said, we already have the list. So many of them. Okay, that's the first part. But when it comes to the quantity and the content of this is where we need our institutions to give us research data. Go out there, do a lot of research, open up the classrooms for the children to do research on what variety of leaves and the quantities are good for our animals, okay? Look, I intentionally went around my garden here just to bring you, and you could see a couple of pot plants, right? What this means is that there is no excuse really, guys. Once you have the smallest piece of land where you are, go in there, put pot plants in there, and guess what? Some of these herbs actually like pot plants. And plant the variety of leaves and green vegetables and spices and herbs that are very, very useful for these animals, because that brings about a balanced diet, that brings about a lot of other nutrients which we may not have in the regular elephant grass that we feed our animals. Okay, please go out there and do all of that. Always at Ace Farm, we talked about feeding our animals only green, dry or wilted stuff. Okay, now if you know where you are getting them from, where you are getting these herbs from, then by all means keep them that way. But if you don't know where you are getting them from, we also suggest that you wash them and salt them so that you don't end up accidentally poisoning your animal with some kind of agrochemicals. Okay. In the wild, the animals eat variety, and they eat, by the way, the variety I'm talking about in the wild, the grasses are always there. Now, when you translate that into a cage system, it also means always make sure there is some kind of a grass in the cage. The cage must never, 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 never be empty. Okay, we are struggling to do this at Ace Farm because we live in the city. Okay, my people, I think we've exhausted this topic adequately, and we've set the foundation for us to go ahead and start feeding our animals variety of herbs that we have around. If we do not have them, let's go through the potting system and just spread these herbs so that our animals will have variety. And if you look at them in the wild, they always have green and dry material around them. We need to emulate that in the caging environment for a healthy animal and a healthy characteristics of our animals. Okay, that's it. If you like this content, like I said, I barely touch on this subject, right, guys? If you like this content, let me know so that I can dig deeper and bring you a richer version, okay? Until I catch you again, guys, keep farming. Keep farming. Bye.